guys, this is Elena Seungeun Lee from We Learn to Share. Welcome to another intriguing video of We Read to Share. Today we embark on a captivating journey to discover the ideals and critics of the utopian society depicted in Utopia. Well, get ready for an exhilarating adventure into the realms of the imagination. I'm your host Elena, and this is part of our three-part series exploring Utopia. The first part, author's life and historical context. Now let's dive in. Well, Utopia portrays the yearnings for an ideal society, simultaneously critiquing the flaws of the real world. It's a place known as the best place on earth and simultaneously the nowhere land, a perfect blend of aspiration and criticism. But to truly understand the essence of Utopia, let's take a moment to meet the genius behind this remarkable work. Thomas More, born into a family of a renowned lawyer, John More, in London, was deeply influenced by his upbringing and education. At Oxford University, More mastered Latin and Greek, where the rigorous study routine from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. found its way into the intellectual life depicted in Utopia. More developed a fondness for the satirical works of Lucian, a Greek writer, and this influence can be seen throughout the entirety of Utopia. While Thomas More pursued a career in law following his father's footsteps, he felt a religious calling and spent 4 years in the Carthusian monastery in London. The lifestyle he experienced there, characterized by minimal labor and dedicating ample time to prayer, study, and meditation, became an integral part of the ideals presented in Utopia. More envisioned a society where essential needs could be met with minimal working hours, leaving abundant time for intellectual and spiritual pursuits. But despite his initial inclination towards a religious path, More eventually married Jane Colt, abandoning the clergy to become a lawyer and a prominent political figure. Transforming his home into a small academy, More taught Latin and music to his uneducated wife and invited Latin, Greek, and music tutors for his children. The caring father and devoted husband created a domestic setting that closely resembled the ideal life portrayed in Utopia, promoting a patriarchal structure where the head of the family leads with love and authority. Thomas More fostered a close friendship with the Dutch humanist Erasmus, who criticized the societal conditions of their time in his work Praise of Folly. Inspired by Erasmus' critic, More conceived the idea of crafting a manuscript in response. After years of meticulous research and contemplation, he published Utopia in 1516, exposing the contradictions of reality while painting a vivid picture of an ideal society. Okay, before we immerse ourselves further into the world of Utopia, let's understand the historical backdrop against which this influence work emerged. Well, during the late medieval period, Europe faced significant challenges such as wars, diseases, and famine. The 14th and 15th centuries were marked by devastating events, including the Black Death, which claimed more than one-third of the population in some regions. The Hundred Years' War between England and France resulted in immense casualties and destruction. Following the secession of the Hundred Years' War in 1403, a civil war known as the Wars of the Roses erupted in England between the House of York, which is symbolized by the white rose, and the House of Lancaster, symbolized by the red rose. Tired of the perpetual conflicts among the nobility, the English longed for a strong monarch who could restore political stability. The establishment of the Tudor dynasty under Henry VII marked the beginning of a new era, often regarded as the dawn of modernity. England, once a peripheral nation in medieval Europe, underwent a remarkable transformation, experiencing unprecedented progress. By the 19th century, it would become an empire on which the sun never set. Thomas More's active years coincided with this period of great advancement. However, the fruits of progress were disproportionately enjoyed by privileged few, while the impoverished peasants bore the brunt of sacrifice. In this context, we encounter a significant phenomenon known as the Enclosure Movement. The desire for increased profits among noble landowners led them to convert agricultural land into pastures as a rising demand for wool drove up wool prices. Dispossessing generations of tenant farmers, these landlords fenced off vast areas of land, transforming them into sheep grazing estates. The enclosures devastated the livelihoods of displaced peasants, turning their once fertile fields into a barren landscape ravaged by the insatiable appetite of the sheep. The iconic phrase, "sheep eat people," captures the dire consequences of this economic shift. People who once tilled the land found themselves uprooted and forced into destitution, eventually turning to crime for survival. The authorities, overwhelmed by the surge in crime, responded with harsh penalties, including mass executions. One anecdote even speaks of a day when 20 bodies was hung from the gallows of London's execution sites. However, these individuals were not inherently wicked, but victims of the nobility's insatiable greed, driven to a tragic end in their desperate state. Amidst this social turmoil, Thomas More, a brilliant scholar and statesman, grappled with the quandaries of his time, seeking alternatives and solutions. His relentless pursuit for answers gave birth to the visionary masterpiece we know now as Utopia. Now that we have a better understanding of the historical context, let's explore the micro-utopias and the macro-utopias, how the structure of Utopia is written. So the first part of Utopia is micro-utopia. These small-scale ideal societies offer partial solutions to specific issues plaguing the world. And then we have the macro-utopia in part 2 of Utopia, which brings a more complete ideal site of humankind in where humankind can live as Utopia. Okay, so join us in the next episode where we will uncover the micro and macro utopia, the comprehensive vision of an ideal society, and how the humankind's and how the government deals with societal problems to find resolutions. Well, that wraps up part 1 of our Exploring Utopia series, and make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you won't miss the thrilling conclusion and the other parts. So until next time, keep dreaming and imagining a better place. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.